creepy crawlies ruin your.
But I figure if I wear a fly hat, nobody won't be looking at my hair. Like in St. Louis, my hair.
You got on the wrong stream, Adam. Because Tony Norman said, "Where y'all at?"
Say goodbye to unwanted guests. Call RV Best Solutions now.
Blame somebody else.
Is this going
Leave
in?
my son alone. Yeah, leave my son alone.
9605 RV Best Solutions.
Don't nobody say nothing about that but me.
So talking about missing money, right? Blue Cross Blue Shield reached out to me. I'm saying a lot of money. And then I was talking about what they want me to do. You know, it's a contract
I
opportunity.
have nothing.
Then I said, wait. All right, Whitney Houston.
I have nothing, nothing, nothing.
So then I said, oh, let me reach out. We're gonna do it. Then I looked. I said, how did I miss this email? But the beautiful thing is, I hired an assistant.
That's not beautiful.
It is because I got
That's
help.
not beautiful. You've been had help.
I
You
did
got a driver too.
barely. I had to look for parts, but I have administrative help. I always do it myself. So now I got.
That's because you choose to do.
I know, and I chose
What's up, y'all?
to cut my pay to
Carlton,
pay
what's
somebody.
up?
Right, Jarrell?
I am great. Thank you for asking. Hey, Lauren, Imani.
Hey, you gotta do
You
that.
know what?
Thank you.
I'm so glad you guys are here. We got not breaking news, but it's really like, don't look over here. You know, it's something to be said about nosy people. Do you know when, like, my uncle, he went to the penitentiary when he got out, right? He would eat his food and he would do like, if this is the plate, right? And he would do like this. Cause that's like something standard. Cause I guess cause I guess inside
He will take your food.
or they'll stab you and take your food, right? No, we ready.
Ready.
Insurance and investments, you can
You
secure
Calm down, Jarrell. Wait, we both.
cool
All right,
down. We all
calm
good.
down.
underinsured, or you just need a free assessment.
Y'all need to be finding some
insurance
more.
and investments plan.
All right.
So you
Yes.
can prepare for retirement. Go ahead and give us a
That's us.
815-277-6772. Again, that's
Thank you, sweetheart.
277.
You know what? When I was in high school and grammar school, tell y'all later. So you know, this is near and dear to my heart because of where it happened. So a man that was born on the army base to a U.S. soldier, he was deported to Jamaica. So Jermaine Thomas was born on the U.S. Army base in Germany to a naturalized American soldier. And though he spent his entire life in the United States, he was deported to Jamaica in May of 2025, a country he had not even visited. So the deportation stems from the legal technicality. Under U.S. law at the time of his birth, Thomas did not automatically receive citizenship because his father hadn't met the specific physical presence requirement after naturalizing. As a result, Thomas was never legally recognized as an American citizen, despite being born into a military family that raised their entire family in the U.S. And if they're on a military base, someone was enlisted in the armed forces. Yeah. So years ago, Thomas received a deportation order due to his past conviction, but during the surge of ICE enforcement this year, he was detained and removed from the country. And now living in Jamaica with no family or roots there, he has spoken out about what he sees as a betrayal. And I quote, "My father put his life on the line for this country," Thomas said, "and they kicked me out." His case highlights a broader issue. ICE detentions have surged in recent months, including many involving military families. So over 11,000 people with no criminal records were detained in June alone. Advocates say that the U.S. is punishing people with deep ties to the country, including veterans and their relatives. So based on outdated and inflexible immigration laws, this is how they're getting the list of people that they're going and detaining. And not just detaining, but deporting. So Jermaine Thomas's story has become a symbol of the crackdown, raising urgent questions about who gets to belong and what the country owes to those who served it.
That is ridiculous. And
Yeah,
you
you
know
get an
what?
arm for that, U.S.
I love Jamaica, but I don't want to be deported there. I want to go
Well,
visit.
it doesn't even say that he has Jamaican roots.
Right, he doesn't. He had never been there.
No, he's never been there. He has no family there. He's there alone. Now, if you gotta be deported, Jamaica is probably your best shot, right? However,
I don't know though. That's what I'm playing devil's advocate. Because I can go every week. Shoot, Otis stayed for 6 months almost. But do I want to be forced to stay there and with no options and I'm kicked out of my country, especially if I hadn't been there?
Well, don't nobody want to be forced to be on 47th Street. So, I mean, being forced, yes, that's not the issue, though. But I'm saying, in terms of if you had to pick a place, you could have been deported to Siberia. It could have been cold. It could have been,
I guess you're looking at
language barrier. At least the people speak English, and you have that advantage. But I'm saying it is a travesty. I agree with you. It is ridiculous that we are not honoring those who have honored us with their lives. Now, I mean, I'm not saying that his dad passed. I don't know that his dad passed while serving in the army, but the fact, and I don't know that the army was his service mode. Like, I don't know if he was United States Marines or if he was in the Air Force. I don't know what branch of the service he
he
served
served.
in. But the fact of the matter is
He
he
served.
served.
He served. And
And
you got kicked out.
it's a slap in your face while veterans are trying desperately to understand what their benefits are, because most of them, I would venture to say 70% of them don't even know what benefits they have as veterans. And so I always encourage women, when you're looking for a spouse, see if you can't find a veteran, because it really will level you up. Like, seriously.
I'm
And
trying to figure out though. Now it just makes me thinking. I think Adam and they were talking about we on the brink of war, right? But if you, Tammy, kick your brother out your house and just send him to my house and he got his bag to stay, I'm gonna be a little mad at you. So don't you think these other countries are gonna really start getting a little upset that Trump just sending people to them?
And I don't understand. Maybe they signed up just like several cities in the US signed up as sanctuary cities or sanctuary countries. As many times as I've been to Jamaica, I have not heard that. But when I go next time, I'm going to ask how that bows with the political figures, or the political powers that be, because you're absolutely right. You are actually and essentially sending me what you don't want.
Right.
And that means that it was invaluable to you, though it should have been, because their father served. Now, it did say he had a criminal background, but it doesn't go to say how deep the criminal background is. And I'm going to research that, or one of our trusty interns over here will research it and find out. But irrespective of the fact, you sent him to a country that he has no ties to.
Yeah, that is crazy. Um, it I don't want to correlate it to this, but it made me think of the scene and what's love got to do with it when Ike baby mama just pulled up. I think her name was Eileen or something, and dropped the kids off and drove off and left. And
Mhm.
Tina just had to take care of them. Now, of course, she didn't mind, but this is essentially what Trump is doing: pulling up on the curb in front of your house, dropping the kids off and leaving.
Yeah, because some of these countries are going to mine. They're not going to be like Tina. They're not going to raise the children that you didn't want.
Yep.
So what happens then? It doesn't matter though, because, or does it matter because they're still a US citizen, or does it not matter because I've thrown your citizenship away? That's the question.
Mm. I think he's thrown away, but it's like, well, thank God it's Jamaica and not Germany where he was born, because that would probably be a little bit.
But I mean, he probably would know more people in Germany if he was born and raised there. Well, I
Mm,
think it said that he spent his entire life in the United States.
right, because he was just born on the bay.
Yeah, so
That's interesting.
he was born on the United States soil. So if you are in a embassy, or if you are on a army base, you are considered a US citizen. But
Right.
remember, the birthright citizenship is under attack anyway.
But he
So
said that it was only that was only created for descendants of slaves.
who is he?
Right, Trump. That was his argument. That law was really for black. Well, he said black folks, for descendants of slaves. That's what we get the birthright citizenship from, because we were forcibly brought here, and so we supposed to be.
But how do you carve out a certain niche for a certain amount of people and not have that for everybody? Now, to your point, there is a carve out for um Indians. When I say Indians, I mean indigenous
Native
Native
American.
Americans, because they do have a carve out. But that was an act of Congress as well. And I don't know that but that's something we would have to research to see exactly what the law says. So if any of you all who are history buffs or are constitutional experts know that information, please put it on the thread. In the meantime, we will research that. And before the show is over, we will have that information for you. In the meantime, in between time, hide your kids, hide your wives. Because
They getting sent to other places.
exactly.
But one black lady, I'm gonna close on this. I'm like the preacher. She said, "Well, if you're gonna deport me or send me back somewhere, at least give me $5 million, $10 million."
Something.
I said, "Shoot, I take it too. Adios, mi amigos."
You can't rape the willing.
Right.
Literally. It ain't bad.
Well, the views and opinions of Tavera, you are nuts. But listen,
I'm just saying.
I'm glad that we bring these stories, and I'm glad that we have Winona Redmond from Community Chatter coming, because every one of our listeners deserve to win, and it's always our aim to send them back better than you came. You're rocking with the Brunch Bunch right here on 1390.
I'm trying to figure out what's so funny.
Well, that analogy, but it made me think of a lady who testified at church once that she went home from Bible class, went in her garage, and the guy jumped out of the garage and said, put a knife on her neck. She was testifying to it. She said, "Sir, I don't got no money." He told her,
I didn't come here.
"I didn't come here for money. I'm gonna rape you." And she said, I turned around and told the man, "Put that knife down and come over here."
She said that on the witness stand. Put that knife down. But see, that's my point.
So I've been walking up and down that alley every night.
Is this a joke?
No. This is a real testimony. I won't say her name.
Oh my God. I think Marcel just.
I promise you, I can call her family now. They'll tell you she got up and said that in church.
In the meantime, in between time, y'all look up. See?
You said you can't rape the willing. Sis was willing.
But why was she on the witness stand? Because
She wasn't on the witness stand. She was testifying at church.
Oh, at
Testimony
church.
service.
I thought you
She said, "I just want to tell you how God kept me." I was like,
God looked out for me.
so man, I've been looking up and down the alley for that brother.
So it happened because a lot of times people who rape you they want that power. And if you rob them of the power, they're not interested no more.
It happened. She said she was looking up and down that alley for a week looking for him. Now, mind you,
as it happened, shut up. She made that up.
Now, mind you, this lady drank a little before church, so.
Can you look up the
So no guess, but Winona just gonna come in.
can you look up in the meantime what the naturalization law says? It was just for slaves, or was it extended to anybody that was born on U.S. soil or U.S. soil? Consider it.
Well, he didn't say. Well, you know how we create laws, but the people we created for one group of people, but it's just open to everybody. So he said it's been misused.
It doesn't matter if it was misused, but I just want to give clarity to what it is so people will understand.
And Elon Musk said he's going to make sure.
Yes, that's right. The naturalization laws related to slaves and those born in the United States evolved significantly over time. So initially in the 1790 Naturalization Act limited citizenship to free white persons after the Civil War. The 14th Amendment, ratified it in 1868, established birthright citizens for anyone born in the U.S., regardless of race or previous slave status. So it morphed.
Yep.
And so this amendment overturned the Dred Scott decision, which had denied citizenship to people of African descent. Yeah, so that. See?
If you want to run for U.S. Senate, Elon Musk said he's going to make sure every senator that supported Trump's big tax breaks and spending cuts and this new bill that he said is putting the country in debt, he is going to make sure none of them are reelected. He's going to put his power and money behind.
Yeah, because I told you when they formulated that bromance that it was going to be just a matter of time because Musk was getting way too much attention, and Trump is very narcissistic with his attention. So that was never going to work. And you got something on your eyelash that I hope it don't go into your eye. But that was never going to work because did you see how Did you see how Trump was looking in the White House? I mean, in the Oval Office. It's over now. In the Oval Office
He like over there, another.
when Musk was talking and his kid was
And the
talking.
kid told Trump to shut up.
Kid was putting boogers on the desk. That was crazy.
So Trump came out talking about Doge today and how terrible it is and how.
But you formulated those.
Let me put you on.
You knew this was gonna happen, though. I mean, the American people knew this was gonna happen because one thing you gotta do, one thing you always can depend on with a Gemini, you can just wait and the tides will turn.
DJ Bilo, we're not on Facebook.
What?
So tell me how you really feel.
No, seriously, I know.
I think we are now.
I am a Gemini, so I can speak to that.
I
with
had to
certainty.
redo it. To add it. Yeah, they are, but we knew,
Hey, Lars.
I said this a month ago. I said, I don't, how we watch the fights on Chicago media take out or these disagreements. I've been just waiting on Trump and Elon to fight publicly.
They're not gonna fight publicly.
Oh, they are now. You had Trump there. Turn it down, so.
It's definitely to make. It's a rap beat. Yes, bro. They pretty good at it too.
Y'all think it's fake?
Kendrick and Drake.
I think that
Y'all think they faking this for
I
attention?
believe they
I don't
faking
think
it.
so either. Cause
Yes.
I definitely don't think
If
so.
there's any person in history
Because Trump-
Because he's adamant about not having fake news,
Right.
and so this will be fake news. He's pretty diligent about what he believes and what he says.
So I watched a clip of a TV show, and the guy they scam people at the bar, and the guy was like a famous golfer, and his friends sit at the bar like they don't know him, and then talk about him so bad that the guy get up to prove a point, and they make bets in the bar for all his money. But then when he walked out, he said, "Hey, you took it too far. Those words really cut me deep." Yeah, he was like, "Yo, that cut me deep."
Hey,
I don't think Trump will let nobody talk about because Elon been talking about him stupid and all that. I don't
and they're
think
doing
Trump will
this
let that.
public, like,
games. Don't say nothing about my kids or my wife, and you say anything else about it.
oh, it's way too late for that. They're talking about each other's kids and wives. Well, does Elon have a wife now?
Yes.
Yeah, he got nephews,
He got many wives.
baby mamas, and he dating a girl.
He got a baby mama. He got 12 kids.
Yeah,
He got
I
baby
think
mama.
like 12 different women.
Kids with really smart women.
He got kids with really smart women.
That's what he said. He said that's the only people all pregnant is really smart geniuses.
What happened?
If they got pregnant by Elon, they geniuses.
All right, Ronnie.
It don't even matter, right? It don't matter what your IQ is. You got pregnant by Elon.
Well,
Have a baby by me. Be a millionaire.
You gotta put a B on that.
A billionaire. He ain't giving them all his money.
right. Mm-mm. Come leave me, child.
It's too late now.
So what's going on is we are having a time in the studio, and if you're not tuned in on our social media, make sure you follow us at Brunch 1390 on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And you know what? When we get back, prepare yourself because each and every Tuesday we come to win. It's community chatter with Winona Redmond from Win Communications. When we
No, but I do have an update, as I promised, because we talked about that naturalization law, and you were right, Marcel. The naturalization is a conferral of the
But here's something funny. Of all days, today I wanted to be right.
So, upon someone who does not have U.S. citizen, Congress fully legalized the authority over naturalization under the naturalization power, and it was meant for Black people who were enslaved that were not considered citizens, but it morphed into everyone. So you were right, and they were right.
Yes, and you know what? We're gonna be right back with community chatter right here on the Brunch Fund.
I don't know what you sent me.
So I'm gonna make Renita my guest today. So
Let me Tammy.
not,
And now I put
so
my head.
play canceled. And I'm gonna talk about some of
Hi, Sandra. Hey, Christopher.
Did that help him with the echo? You said it's worse.
Ooh. Just so you know, these
Okay,
are
how about
supposed to
now?
be waves, not curls.
Can you hear?
What's up, DJ B-Lo?
Ronnie, we don't see you.
You say you want to move
Winner.
That's not mad, bro. I don't know what that is.
Winner.
Okay, y'all ready? Drop
Mhm.
the intro, community chatter.
All right, let's go.
Hi there, it's Winona Redmond. It's time to win because it's time for community
Two.
Every Tuesday, Winona brings us a new best friend or introduces us to an old best friend. But I will say this: the brunch bunch is making it happen. I texted Tammy the other day. I was walking through Oak Park, and a lady heard my voice and was like, "What is your name?" And I said Marcel, and she screamed, "Action Jackson!" and started telling everybody. But now, when I'm in rooms with high-level individuals, people always come up and say, "Oh, I know you. You do community chat on the brunch bunch with Winona." And that just speaks to how she really shines a light and brings a light to everything she does. Let's welcome Winona back.
Yeah.
You've been out doing some major things, Winona.
You
So it's good to
know,
have you back.
thank you. It's good to be back. But on July 1st, it's like the beginning of a budget year
Oh, yeah.
for so many people. And July 1st, for me, we were doing all of our planning because a lot of times corporate budgets have to be in before August for the next year. It was just for us a pause to say, what did we accomplish this year? So when we look at what did we do January through June, and then when we look at the climate we're in with everyone worried about Trump, with these
Yeah.
unbelievable legislation,
Mandates, statutes,
and
new, never heard of.
and we have had so many clients running scared.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been with politicians in the community repeatedly for multiple events. And I just said to our team, let's look back and to Sankofa, let's look back
Yeah.
to go forward. We know in this climate we can win.
Yes.
But working together, and so just we've been doing our mid-year report. We've had some wonderful projects, and education is under attack. And our guest today was Bernard Clay at Introspect. It's his 50-year anniversary, but he was called to a crisis at one of the schools. We've been working with Donald Dew, who has his annual equity event coming up this year in December. He's focusing on education.
Yeah.
As we look at, so we will still share information on education, but I decided since Mr. Clay couldn't make it to sit Renita Dumas down, because I can't say enough about the team that works with me at Win Win. And Renita is one of my measure of success. Renita was a graduate student that I made an intern at Win Win. What? But when did you graduate from Loyola?
I graduated from Loyola in 2017, and I hunted down Winona at the Black Women Expo in 2016 because I needed to find an internship to work at.
Right. So we're fast forward. Mary Green has the Black Women's Expo coming up, her 30-year anniversary. And she will be doing the Phenomenal Woman Awards on July 31st. And then August 1st through the 3rd, she will be at McCormick Place doing the 30-year Black Women's Expo. But Renita found me in 2016. I had a booth at the Black Women's Expo, and she and another young lady tracked me down saying, we need an internship.
Wow.
And because of her because of her initiative, she became my intern. So so since 2017, you started as an intern with us. She was then at Loyola.
Yeah, I was working at Loyola, working for the Ramler Productions, recording their different events they may have there, like the Ethics Festival and all the other stuff. And then I went on to work with her more full time. And then I went to Chicago Tribune, and then I was a marketing manager at an LED lighting company. Then I came back with Winona.
Wow.
And you've been back since 2023?
Yes.
So when I say we have a team that does well, Renita does some of the best photography. She does some of the best. She does the photography, video. She can edit video like a champ. When we just did the Dear Me Care Circle brunch, all of the PowerPoints and graphics and everything was Renita. But when I say that we give clients the best that we got, I try and make sure that we say that the team. So I'm so proud of Renita, and I wanted her to join me as we talk about all the projects and clients we've worked on. But Renita, what did you win, an Emmy?
I won a student Emmy in
I never even knew that was a
2017.
thing.
Yeah, it's a whole longer name, but everybody calls it a student Emmy. And we did a short film. It's called Sophie's Gun Shop. It was like this little girl. We went to Montrose Beach selling guns on the lake, and it was just to emphasize like the how easy it is for people to sell the gunshots outside of Illinois, and how we get a lot of outside guns that come into Chicago.
Wow.
So just to do a little PSA about having stricter gun rules. So just nice PSA to just to shock people like this little girl's trying to sell guns.
Yeah,
That's
that's
incredible.
amazing. And I'm glad you said that. I'm blessed to learn from all of my big sisters. I call them. And I was in a meeting yesterday with my team. That it took me to be around Tammy 8 years to realize I can't do this by myself. You got to have a team.
Do it by ourselves.
And I started saying, well, we got to do the table and do the legs. And I said, that comes from Winona. We got to know what we're doing and what we're focusing on. And so you do a lot of great work. And we never really get to talk about win-win and your great team that helps you to win. Let's kind of talk. This is the first day of the third quarter, but you've had 2 amazing quarters. Let's talk about some of the things win-win has been a part of.
That, as we look back, win-win is, if the Lord says the same, it'll be our 13th year, November 20th of 2012. But we really have focused in on, we're not trying to be everything to everybody. We're trying to look at where we can win. And when we turned 10, I was able to say we're at a point where we can be selective. We actually turn some projects down. We can be selective and work for causes and people we believe in. We more than 50% of our business is healthcare, but we also work with some phenomenal developers like Leon Walker. We help celebrate his 25-year anniversary, and he's done so much transformation. When he did Inglewood Square, first place tax credits were used in Chicago. Bill Clinton had flew here. So Leon Walker is a brilliant mastermind. So when we look at, we do a lot with community-based organizations. Donald Dew is on his way to his 50-year anniversary at HSI, and he's doing 47 this year. But we do a lot with community-based organizations, the Rainbow Push, the Westside NAACP, the phenomenal Chicago Urban League. As we look at also doing a lot with, we work, needless to say, with a lot of the business organizations, the Business Leadership Council, the Austin African American Business Network and Association, the fabulous Melinda Kelly, the Chatham Business.
UNCF.
The business groups, but UNCF is absolutely, education is under attack. And I'm so proud of Lisa Rollins. Lisa, the great Fred Mitchell, who was from Chicago for a minute, just retired. But Lisa Rollins has continued to continue to deliver. She's now over 5 states for United Negro College Fund. So she's in Ohio, Indianapolis, and she's Illinois, Wisconsin, but Illinois. We just had the gala. The walk for UNCF is coming up. But as we look at our work and we look at our buckets, this is a somber month in that we will be celebrating the life of Renee Ferguson. So today I really come with a heavy heart because it's the 2-year anniversary of my mom's death. My mother declared her freedom from her on Independence Day, July 4th. My life will never be the same, but she had been through so much on July 4th of 2023 that we knew that she had a place stored up and ready for her, and that the suffering on this place, the clay body was gone, but we know that she had her reward and they having a good time with the family reunion in heaven. But it already was a heavy week for me. But, we will be doing a memorial celebration for Renee Ferguson, who was a longtime friend. But this past week, yesterday, there was a balloon release. Alderman Emma Mitz, Congressman Danny K. Davis, Brad Cummings, a longtime media partner, and Isaac Jones. Yeah, Austin Boyce. Isaac Jones, Black-owned paper, but Brad was an honorary Black person because he would tell me, Well, when you're on the west side, you can meet with me because I live on the west side and I work on the west side.
Most people did not know when
he
they heard
lived
the news
right across the street from the Austin Voice newspaper. He's right over there, 5200 West North Avenue. He prided himself.
Good in the hood. I
He
loved
did.
him.
He prided himself. So one day there was 2 back-to-back events. The Leaders Network had they called for a reward on what's today, Wednesday. Tuesday. They called for a reward on Sunday. Then Monday, Sunday, and then yesterday there was a balloon release and prayer on the site, and they released white balloons. And somebody said Brad might have a problem with you releasing white balloons because he might have wanted them to be black. But there's been a lot when you look at the media and all that we have. The Austin Voice is about to celebrate 40 years. Wow. And I'm so happy that Donald Duke called a meeting. Congressman Davis came, Alderman Miss. We had just had a meeting at HSI with Medill and others to just talk about how do we save these community publications. And Brad was beaming. Mm-hmm. And Donald captured it. And I was like, Andrea Smith was at the table, and we just can't take for granted. Yeah. We work, and keep moving. So we can't take for granted really celebrating folks. And
well, let me ask you, Renita, a question, because you've gotten a long list of heavy hitters.
Oh yeah.
And Renita is young. She's been in the game. She's done some amazing things. But when you talk about people like Donald Dew and Congressman Davis, how does it feel to be in that inner circle and you're making the difference in how they show up?
It feels right, because I've always been somebody who wanted to give back to the community, give back to our people. I'm originally from the South Side, but I live in Logan Square, which is kind of northwest. So I love seeing around Black people and helping other Black communities. My favorite is when I lived in Hyde Park and my neighbor said we're going to Rainbow Push, and I didn't know it was in the same neighborhood. And
she's been to Push a lot.
Yes, I've been pushed so much more now. But when I first went there, I was calling my friends like, it's still here. Like, Justin Jackson, he's here, and I was almost crying. And I really enjoy working with Lisa Rollins and UNCF because I'm one of those millennials who's like told to go to school. And I have a ton of student loans. Like, if you were to win the amount of money I owe student loans, you'd be very happy.
I love that.
So I'm very, very grateful to work with all these people that my nonna introduced me to, because we do so much for the community. And my friend asked me to ask ChatGPT what it thinks about me. And it says, you're a hard worker, dedicated, you do a lot for the community, and you have a very driven your career. And I was just like, oh my God.
That makes me think, how does
I didn't know I needed to hear that.
But tell them about the project. So if we look at January to June, the projects we've worked on, because she's been at all of them. We've won some awards. And she has learned to really step up. So we're looking at a promotion for Renita in July. And
you said it on the radio.
So. Yeah.
well, she already knows it. But speak to what we've done. We work in those 4 buckets, the development, the community, the faith-based, and definitely health. But she shows up and she's done video, photography. She's been passionate about podcasts because we're getting ready to start a podcast. Mm-hmm. But she showed up. We did DL3's 25th anniversary. Which was amazing. Yeah. And then when she showed up, they were like, well, we didn't know she was coming, but she just made sure she pushed her way through. And thanks to her, when the other video piece didn't work, she was all set up and captured some of the pieces that we were trying to make sure we had a backup for. But speak to, you can tell them, you said UNCF, Rainbow Push, who else?
So we've been doing a lot of work with HSI and Collaborative Bridges. They have opened up a new location on Lake Street, and it's been really fun to see how it's gone from like being rebuilt. It was just like a box when we first got there.
Big open box.
And now that is this location that is on the west side that is available for people with for their mental stress and the mental illnesses, and it provides for people where they can go and do some work for people who are like
They have mental health. It's a drop in. All
Yeah.
these different partners from Heartgrove to Bobby Wright, HSI.
Yeah.
yeah. And
Well, I
also,
know works with everybody
Yeah.
who is everybody who is somebody.
Well, if
So-
there's somebody looking to work with you, Winona, who's listening now, because you've given
Winwin.com, WYN-WIN.com. But you Google Winona Redmond, you Google Win-Win Communications. You know, my chapter in the book that when we did this whole piece, Shattering a Glass Ceiling, is all money is not good money. And we really want to work with causes and people we believe in, but it's just amazing how much has gone on.
Yeah.
The West Side has all of these projects that have opened, and you've got elected officials working hard.
Yeah.
But so Renita is one of the team members, and one of my, we're celebrating Al Orendorff. It's his birthday and retirement from one position to another one, but we celebrate a lot of good team members. But
real
we
quickly,
celebrate
favorite
you.
story.
favorite story.
Favorite event. What was
Favorite
your
event, favorite story.
Favorite event. It has to be the UNCF Gala. It's my favorite event. It's our biggest event. Oh, and last year I went to NBJ for the first time. It was so good to be around all these Black professionals. And then when Trump came in and they was interviewing him, like tore him down, I was like, yes.
And you're going to NABJ again. We'll be helping with JP Morgan Chase is a great big sponsor of the National Association of Black Journalists Conference in Cleveland.
Yeah, and I've been to a lot of conferences and learned about how people do their work and just keep going. And it was
So all that means is, Winona, you're doing an amazing job.
Yeah,
Paving the way for other people to
But
do
like
so.
you guys both know, to whom much is given, much is required. And together we win really has to be a win for folks working with us. But there's so much going on, so many things to celebrate. Education, Ada S. McKinley, Jamal Malone, he's talking about funds from Clio being in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And, Bernard Clay at Introspect, 50 years sending kids to college. Their UNCF, education is under attack. And Renita just said it. She's a demonstration of we got to invest in our youth, and they should not come out with all these student loans. And it doesn't matter what happens in DC. Let's make education ours.
As long
That's
as
right.
God is still on the throne, we going to be
Love
all right.
Trump's hate.
Listen.
Love
Trump's hate.
Oh,
Winwin.com. Say it one more time, Tammy.
Nope.
WYN-WIN.com. Listen, together we win, and together we will win as we get up out of here. We're out of time, but we are never out of content. We encourage you on this beautiful Tuesday to keep Love 24 alive. Tell someone that you don't know that you love them. Tell someone that you do know that you love them. Love will begin to spread like a wildfire. Tamara Fair on the air. I love you.
I love you too, Action Jackson. Believers, we love you.
Baby
M&M, we love you
And I
too.
love Lucy and also Bobby, my dad.
All right. We get it done Monday through Friday, 12 to 1, right here on the Brunch Bunch on Inspiration 1390.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us today on Community Chatter Tuesday. You know what's Tell Me Something Good? We told you something good. If you're looking to level up, contact WIN, WYN-WIN.com. Win. That's her name, plus what you can do, which is win. Y'all, sometimes you just need a hand to hold that has resources that have actually paved the way.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Now we're talking about that in the studio. You can ask ChatGPT. What is it about you? And ChatGPT can tell you some things about you, which means Big Brother is watching you. All right, y'all. In the meantime, have a great one.